Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our session for this evening. Thank you for being here. Really a pleasure to see so many of you. And I am definitely going to enlighten you with regards to one of the best professional qualifications that's available. I'll be happy to take on any questions. No matter how tough or how silly your question may be, please feel free to raise your question. You are more than welcome to type in as we go along. Rather than keeping your questions till the end, just put in your questions. We have our two moderators with us, Chilong and Evelyn. They will definitely pick up the questions and I will answer them. I am Kiran Seth, a senior lecturer in Sunway TAS. And without further ado, let's get started and let me tell you all about ACCA. And before I get started on that, so let me just also share with you that I myself am an ACCA graduate as well as an alumni of Sunway TAS. I did not do my ACCA in Sunway TAS. I did the Certified Internal Auditor. So I completed that program in Sunway TAS, and that makes me an alumni of Sunway TAS, and I always look forward to contribute back to my alma mater. Okay, hang on. Yeah, let me just make this smaller because I'm not used to with this. All right. Okay, so why do we want to choose ACCA? There are many reasons. First and foremost, it's a world-recognized qualification. No matter where you go, most countries recognize ACCA. Of course, in certain countries, there is a higher recognition, and there are certain countries, they have their local qualification. Like, for example, if you're in US, then the CPA qualification has a higher standing. But that doesn't mean ACCA is not recognized. They do have an office there, but certain countries, their own qualification is more prevalent. However, with ACCA, you're able to take up employment anywhere, and it's a qualification that is world recognized. That's how prestigious it is. Provides you a world of opportunities. To date, which is what I checked today, we have 227,000 members, 544,000 students, and it's available in 181 countries. Yeah. So number of employers who are basically affiliate, who are connected with ACCA, 8,500. And, this has been around for 117 years, this qualification. It was first established in 1904. There is a large network. You can network with all the other members in ACCA Careers and LinkedIn. When you have got your ACCA qualification, you have higher recognition in the eyes of your employer and even your clients. Let's not talk about being a member. Even when you are a student member, and you tell anyone that you have got ACCA qualification, you will get, a second glance. It's like, oh wow, that's one of the toughest qualification, and your status just gets elevated. Yeah. Flexibility, duration, combination, and place. And I will vouch for this. I used to be working in Singapore. So I used to take my classes in Singapore, and then I will take my study leave. And I didn't want to stay there because I was on my own. I would rather come home and have the comfort of my home and with my parents, and I don't have to worry about my meals and everything. And I used to come back to Stromban and take my papers. Yeah. So if you are when you're working and if you want to know that you're going to be in another country, when you are signing up for your exam, you can easily choose anywhere, no questions asked. Yeah. Practical experience is important. So first, when you are joined in, you become a student member. Upon completion of all your papers, you become an affiliate. 3 years after you have attained relevant membership, relevant experience, then you will gain your membership, right? And 5 years after that, you will get the highest ranking, which is fellowship. There's quality control, and you would always want to take on classes with approved learning partners, and then they have also a few categories. Sunway TAS is having has platinum status, that is the highest ranking, and Sunway TAS also offers Masters of Science with University of London. It's a collaboration with ACCA. ACCA is the only professional qualification which has an extension for you to do your Masters. And previously, the Masters was not available here, but now Sunway has become your one-stop center. So you can complete your ACCA and then you can take on and do your Masters of Science as well. And this is from Oxford Brookes University. So what are your papers that you would need to attempt in your ACCA? So if you have got your degree program and ACCA grants you exemption, and let's say you get full exemption of all your skills levels, then you only need to do your essential module. So, you need to do your strategic professional module made up of essential and option. Essential, so these two are your compulsory papers, and from the option module, you need to do any two from here, right? All right, so when you do your ACCA papers, how is this different from your other papers? So here you actually have got your higher order thinking skills. Some of you may be familiar with this, which is the Bloom's taxonomy. And higher order thinking skills basically means you are, there is a usage of the higher skills, asking you to analyze, asking you to evaluate. So you're given a scenario. Evaluate means you need to do your pros and cons. And sometimes you're asked, many times you're asked to make suggestions, recommendations based on whatever information that is being provided. Analyze, or substitute word for that is assess. These are the verbs that are commonly used at your strategic level. So let's get you started in terms of what are the papers that are in the ACCA. And take note, for you to pursue this qualification, you only need 4 papers. How long? You're probably wondering in terms of the 4 papers. Exams are available every quarter: March, June, September, and December. That basically tells you you're able to complete your paper in 1 year. That if you do full-time study. If you're doing it on a part-time and your papers will be, June and December, then it will take you 2 years. What is the pros and cons? You have got work experience and you're pursuing your qualification. Whereas in the other one, you fully focus on your papers, you get excellent grades, and you complete within a year. All right, let's start with the first one, Strategic Business Leader. This is, the paper which I am teaching. I'm actually teaching 2 papers. This one, Strategic Business Leader, as well as the Audit and Assurance at the skills level. This paper is a new addition when they revamped the syllabus in 2018. And I'm proud to say I was one of the pioneers who was involved in teaching the paper right from day one. And what is so unique and special about the paper? This is a case study paper, the only paper in the ACCA exam which the duration of the exam is 4 hours, is an integrated case study paper. There is no pre-seen material. Everything is given to you in the exam hall. You have to read your case study. It can be anywhere between 12 to 18 pages. And integrated case study means you can get anywhere between 3 to 5 questions. Each question may have a part A, B, and sometimes C. Sometimes there is no segmentation, and the questions are interlinked many a time. So certain things that you make a decision in question 1, it may overlap in the subsequent question. And all your strategic level papers are very practical. In fact, the whole ACCA exam is very practical. It's very much at what happens in your work environment. They have actually consulted employer stakeholders, and they are constantly updating and revamping the syllabus to ensure they are in line with what's happening in the environment. Yeah? And these are some of the frequently used verbs: evaluate, discuss, and make your recommendations. Right? And this paper, because it is a 4-hour paper, the only paper, like I mentioned to you, you actually have A to H are all your syllabus or segments in there. And what else is unique about this paper? Do you know that the paper, although it's 100 marks, the technical marks are 80. Then what happened to the other 20 marks? The other 20 marks are applicable to the professional skills. So the task will be assigned with the professional skills although they specify one professional skill, many a times it actually involves other skills. But the focus should be on the skill that it is specified. So if they ask you to use commercial acumen, that is the one that is the most challenging to the students. Commercial acumen, if I want to put it in simple terms, it's actually general knowledge. Yeah, so you must be well versed. Not everything is going to be textbook oriented. And the good thing about this paper is when you are doing this, you're a consultant. So as a consultant, you don't always have to be tied up with models. You can always use your general knowledge, and as long as your answer falls in place and makes sense, then you know it's good to go. Then why do you learn all the relevant models? Well, the models will provide you with a structure in making your answer more presentable. It will be more consistent. There will be a proper flow. There will be a structure. But even if you didn't use any particular model, and if you wrote your answer which was logical, which met up with the requirement, it is still acceptable. So you have 80 marks, which are your technical, and 20 marks are for professional. It's a bit tough to really teach the professional skills. As you do the paper, you will get an understanding of it. And also, as a consultant, you are constantly need to use formats. So format means sometimes you need to make a web statement, sometimes you need to make a press statement, report, briefing notes, So there are formats, memos, all that you would need to comply with. All right. So this is a very, very exciting paper. The feedback from the students is that there is a lot of learning from the paper. Of course, the syllabus are very wide, and you need to have a lot of general knowledge, understanding. Although there are all these A to H, your syllabus, your segments, you need to be able to interlink and connect them. Then we have your next one, which is very important, an ethics and professional skills module. In short, it is known as EPSM. Students are required to attempt this module before they graduate. That means, although you finish your four papers, you will not get your affiliate status until you complete this module. Prior to 2017, this module was free. They revamped the module, and you have to pay £60. You will get a certificate of completion when you apply for jobs. You can add this on in your resume. And sometime in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, they actually revamped it and they added on this additions, right? So there's no additional charge to it, but they have added on the segment data analytics, strategic, there's a professional support unit, and there is an assessment at the end of it. So this was actually a good add-on, and they have done a survey. Students who have completed the EPSM module and attempted the SBL paper, there is a higher possibility of passing the paper. Next one is your strategic business reporting, SBR. SBR is actually your corporate reporting paper. And in this paper, there is also quite a substantial segment on ethics. And previously, the paper used to be very much computational. Now you are as a consultant, and there's a lot of analysis, and consulting work that you are doing when you're attempting this paper. Right. Then we come to your optional papers, which is your AFM, Advanced Financial Management. And here you are a senior financial advisor, consultant, and your earlier level paper in the skills level, the financial management definitely plays a part. And here, the skills that are most used are, in terms of evaluate, you want to discuss, so you may be given options and you are asked to evaluate or discuss each of the options, and at the end to make a conclusion. Right. Your next paper is your advanced performance management, APM. APM basically, it talks about your as a management accountant. So here, you're also again playing the role of as an advisor. So again, the verbs are your assess, evaluate, and advance. Then you have your advanced taxation. Advanced taxation paper, I like what they say, think more and basically write less. Yeah, so there's a lot of thinking. And this is when I did this paper, when I did my ACCA, and I was fortunate. I was working in the tax department at that point in time. So for me, doing the advanced tax paper was not as challenging as it was to some of my friends. Yeah. because I was exposed to quite a fair bit of what was going on. And so it involves a little bit of personal tax, but there's a lot on corporate tax. And you have your advanced audit paper. You have to like the audit and assurance paper, then it makes sense for you to do your advanced audit paper. And here, you have to view it from the perspective of the client. You have to view it from the perspective of the firm. So it requires you also to have some financial accounting knowledge, quite a fair bit of your corporate reporting, the SBR paper. So it's always encouraged that you do this paper after you have done your SBR. So you must be well versed with the accounting standards. So again, the verbs that are used here are a lot on discuss and evaluate. Yeah. Having looked through all the papers, and the next thing is in terms of how can ACCA contribute in your career. So what role does ACCA play? I actually did this with my students, and these are the part-time students. So they just like you, they would have they had completed a degree and they were pursuing ACCA. You as students, if I'm not mistaken, you can have continuously doing it simultaneously, your degree program as well as your ACCA. I have previously taught students, so they were doing it concurrently, the degree program and ACCA. And guess what was the feedback? Initially, they thought their degree program studying was very heavy, but after doing ACCA, then they realized that they were able to handle their degree program much easier because ACCA was much heavier. So with the exposure and the knowledge that they were getting in the ACCA papers, it was helping them in their degree program papers. Even though it may not be the same paper, but still it helped them to foster a better understanding. And I've also taught students who are working full time and studying on a part time basis, and this was the feedback from them. Yeah. So they have a better view of the business organization and its strategy. It helps them in their critical thinking. They are able to view things from different perspectives. They have better knowledge, better ideas. They become more creative. Yeah. So view issues from a broader spectrum. Yeah. And their decision making has more depth. All right. So they are able to analyze better wide range of academic scenarios, yeah, that are related to current situations. So when you are doing your paper, the tutorial questions, the exam questions, they are all emulated from the real life situations. Of course, a lot of it has been adapted. Okay. They are more confident to take on senior position because now they are well equipped, right? So they have got the analytical skills, they have got the knowledge, right? So they are, they are in a better situation to take on a senior position. Their opinion is sought and relied upon. So they have their colleagues actually coming up to them and asking them for their opinion because they are more, they have more knowledge. And of course, this helps to enhance your self image and confidence, right? So it does make a lot of difference. It really contributes very well. So let's sum up. What do you need, when you're doing for your ACCA paper? This is on the basis that you get full exemption of your skill level. So you only need to do 4 papers. You have 2 mandatory papers, which are the SBL and the SBR, and you have 4 option papers. You need to choose 2 from that. Once you complete the papers, you complete the EPSM module, then you will get your affiliate status. To gain your membership, you will need 36 months or 3 years of practical experience requirement. Now, you will need to get your employer to endorse your experience. It doesn't have to be continuously with one employer. There is a booklet for you to fill up. You will submit that. ACCA will review, assess, and you can get your title. You can get your membership. Take note, if you are working and you are doing your ACCA, concurrently, your prior experience and your ongoing experience while you're pursuing is also counted. That is the beauty about ACCA. It's not necessary that you complete and only then your experience is counted. So even without completing and you have got that relevant experience, you fill that up, you get your employers to endorse it, and ACCA will acknowledge and recognize it. So I spoke about this. You need to complete this, and you need to, if I'm not mistaken, it's £60. Yes, and you will gain a certificate. You can, display that certificate that you have completed this. And employers, some of the employers are also looking out for this. Yeah. All right. Having completed the papers, then next on your mind would be, which tuition provider. And there is always this notion, that because this is a UK-based qualification, then, we should go to UK and pursue. Like what they say in the current situation, the best jab is the jab that you are getting. And let me tell you, the best tuition provider is right here, right at home. And of course, I'm talking about Sunway Test. And let me convince you as to why, Sunny Test is your best tuition provider. I'm not going to give you one, two, or three reasons. I have full 10 reasons to tell you why Sunny Test is the best tuition provider. First and foremost, we have got a proven track record. We have got excellent pass rates, and we have got a large pool of graduates. Our platinum status, previously it used to be known as premier status, right? Since inception, we have been having it. Yeah, the title of platinum is from 17 years. Prior to that, there was earlier there was the title of premier status. We have got very strong collaboration with all the major international professional services firms, right? So, and you know what? They actually have got their offices in our campus as well. So when the firms, we call this the firm visit, we also, take the students to visit the firm, or if they are visiting our campus, then they will host interviews, meetings in their office in our campus. And each of them have decorated their office according to their theme. Yeah. We have dedicated, committed faculty and also ever-friendly admin staff who are there to assist you. We have got a lecture series. What is this lecture series? So for all the strategic level papers, that is your 6 papers, we now have professionals from the firms or from commercial to come and give a talk. So in that way, to keep you relevant with what's going on. So what are the current topics? We get them to come in, and of course, in this, from last year till now, all these sessions are going on, but they are of course via Zoom. Yeah. We are probably the only institute that have actually got an alumni, and that is your graduate club. And we also have got a student club, a student accountancy club, SEC. They are very active. They organize a lot of events, fundraising events, charity events. They have the Teachers Day, the festive season celebration. So, right. And it also, harnesses leadership, teamwork, right, creativity. So we are probably the only tuition provider who has actually got a student committee, as well as got the graduate club. And our graduate club is made up of ACCA, ICAW, CIA, and all the professional qualifications that we're offering. We also have CFA as well. And then your number 7, we are the highest nurturer in terms of, top in the world for Malaysian prizes, as well as world prize winners. We have about 4,005 students, and ranging from 20 different countries. So yes, it is a little bit of an international hub, or a global hub there. We do have an audit simulation workshop. So even if you join in the strategic level, you will be invited to join the audit simulation. So audit simulation is like as though you are being an auditor. You're going to be given a client. You will do all the necessary work, and you will present this to the managers from the firm. And of course, we will also have the top teams in there. So it's very, very interesting. It's about a 1 week's exercise. Actually, this is it's going to start in just about the second week after the June exam. We also conduct professional appearance grooming courses. All these are additional. You don't have to pay for any of this. And we want to get our graduates prepared for the work environment. We also conduct resume writing, interview skills seminars, so that you will ace through, your interviews, and your resumes will stand out. Last but not least, most of the tuition providers of the ACCA professional courses are a building. And I will tell you, when I studied my ACCA, it was like that. It was a building. Sunway Test is, provides you the environment of a university, right? So there are a lot of campus activities. So you take part in the activities organized by Sunway Test. You can also take part in the activities organized by Sunway University. So there's also a huge opportunity for networking. Let me show you some of our numbers, in terms of why we used, for you to convince you. So we have got the platinum status sometime in 2019. We actually celebrated 25 years of incorporation. Yeah. And we have got high numbers of achievement. And these numbers are as of December 2020. And I was telling you, after you complete your ACCA, there is another additional bonus that you can sign up in Sunway Tech, which is your Masters of Science in Professional Accountancy. And it's only a 1-year program. So there's also a case study and theses for you to work on. And you will also be linked up with other students pursuing this who are not in Sunway Tech. So, and you can get access to their huge database, their library as well, their virtual library. All right, so it's really a good deal for you to take on this master's. All right, and let me convince you further. So, in terms of who are some of the famous personalities who have pursued ACCA, you definitely know him. And you know what? His qualification is actually ACCA, and ICAW gave him an honorary qualification. Why did they do that? They wanted to use him in their promotion. So if he doesn't have the ICAW qualification, they can't. You see? So they gave him the honorary ICAW, but he is actually an ACCA grad. And then you have Dr. Muhammad Nasir Ahmad, right? Okay. Then you have Dr. Zaitun. All right. She's also involved very much in the ACCA committee. And Sharmeen Poo, some of you may know her. And you know what? She is a graduate of Sunway Test. Yes, she's a graduate of Sunway Test. These are just a few whom I found their pictures. Then you also have Tan Sri Wahid Omar. You probably remember him. He used to be in telecoms. Then he joined Maybank, and then he, was taken on as Vanessa. There are quite a few, other people who have actually pursued ACCA, not only locally, but you also have even from overseas. Well, we have indeed come to an end, and I would love to leave you with this last quote: "Wherever your future takes you, arrive smarter with ACCA." So please feel free to raise your questions, but let me pass the floor back to Chilo.
Hi, thank you, Miss Kiran.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much for the so informative about the ACCA program.
My
ACCA
pleasure. I
subjects.
hope
Yeah,
the students, the or the audience basically benefited.
yeah,
Please turn on your mic and raise your questions, or you type in. But I think Chilong has something to share with you all first. So
yep,
Chilong, go ahead.
yep. Okay. So I hope that you guys have already have some information about the ACCA subjects that you guys will be doing. Okay, right after Miss Kiran's sessions. So I like to actually share with you guys on the timeline of the program. Let's say if you intend to start the program during your year 3, and if you plan to complete the whole ACCA program during your year 4, I mean from year 3 to year 4. So let me share with you this slides. Okay, the subjects basically is kind of like recommended subjects. Okay, if you want to start off in year 3, semester 1 straight, so we will actually advise you guys actually to do the AFM subject first, Advanced Financial Management. Okay, then followed by the SPL. Okay, in your year 3 semester 2. So these are actually the recommended subjects, but of course, if you have already have a plan to and you really know what subjects you want to do, by all means, please go ahead. So the recommended subject basically will be this one, AFM first, one of the option paper. Okay, because this one is actually a standalone subject, do not actually carry any knowledge that you need to have before you can do other subjects. Then followed by the SBL paper. Okay, then you do your taxation paper, then SBL will be your last paper. Okay, this one is actually for students who do not aim to go for triple A paper. So let's say if you plan to go for triple A paper, okay, then the sequence should be slightly different already. You need to do your SBR first before you can do your triple A. Okay, always remember, have to complete your SBR first before triple A. Whereas the rest of the paper, you can actually do it accordingly. Okay, so some of you guys might have decided not to start in year 3 and you want to start in year 4, which is perfectly fine. You can actually start in year 4, then you can complete 2 paper in year 4. Then after you complete your degree, and then when you join the workforce, then you can slowly do the remaining 2 paper. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so this is the recommended structure and the subjects if you want to, if you plan to do it, complete the whole ACCA program during your year 3 and year 4. I repeat again. Okay, if you start your program in year 3, okay, after completing 2 papers, we will have this audit simulations called global audit simulations program. Okay, we will open it up to anyone who actually join us during your year 3 to actually join our audit simulation program. It's 7 days audit simulation program. Is totally free. You do not need to pay. Okay, what do you do in audit simulation? Basically, we give you an idea how is the actual audit life is, the real work of as an auditor. So we have actually the manager or the manager from the professional services firm to come in to give you a briefing. Then you will actually do the audit. They will give you some audit skill briefing. Then you will do a case study. Then from there, you will actually gather together, and then you will spend about 6 days to do the audit analysis and checking everything. Then after that, the final day, you do a presentation. It's the same thing like the actual real audit life is, where you have a certain duration to complete a certain task. Then after you complete your task, then you're supposed to present it to your manager. Then your manager will actually will actually take note and of all any important things that you'll find, your findings, any important things that you need to highlight, or any other things. Then from there, they will actually present it to the clients. Okay, so this is actually how is the audit work is like. So this 7 days audit simulations is actually free of charge, and um, this is actually a global audit simulations. Is the only audit simulations that's offered globally. Only Sunway Test have this kind of workshops. Okay, not any other institutions have it at the moment. Okay, so it's actually a very good achievements. We started off this one audit simulation in-house. Then ACCA got to know that we have this audit simulation. They actually invited us to actually present the audit simulations structure and how we run it, and then they find it very interesting, and they want all the ACCA students globally to benefit on this simulation. So that's why they invited us to actually move a level, another level that is offered it to globally, so that other students from other country will be able to come in and join our audit simulation, global audit simulation. So that's why we call this as global audit simulation. We have actually been running for quite a number of years already. Global status, we managed to got it few years ago, and then for the past few years, we actually have a lot of students from overseas, okay, to join us. So the number is actually quite huge. So because of the pandemic, we can't actually run it face to face. We still run it. We didn't stop, but we actually run it online based on in online structure. So it's not really that effective compared to face to face, but they still have the communication bit. Then they are still able to communicate with each other technically. So it's actually a new norm that they will have to actually know and how to do it. So we actually get create all this platform, all this innovative platform to train you guys, so that you guys are ready when you go out to join the workforce at time, if any things changes, you guys can easily adapt. So we call it we usually what we do, we call accountants have to be really agile. So you have to be ready for any changes. Okay. So then the next one, basically I'd like to share with you guys, there are two under ACCA. We are actually running under two different schemes. One is actually the self-paid applicants. The other one is actually the Yayasan Peneraju. So good news for the Bumi students, okay? Because we have managed to get the Yayasan Penerajus to come in to actually give you a full sponsorship for the 4 papers. As long as you are in the year 3, beginning of year 3, and if you want to pursue on to do the ACCA program, you are eligible to actually apply for the Yayasan Peneraju scholarships. Probably later on, I will share with you guys the Yayasan Peneraju applications link. Then you can actually apply for Bumi students. Okay, so for self-pay and Yayasan Peneraju, entry requirement basically is very clear: age within 1923. Okay, currently pursue a degree in accountancy program, and then you need to have a CGPA of early on was actually 3.6, but we have actually gone down to 3.5. In your year 2 and year 3, you got to have a CGPA averagely 3.5. Okay, you do not need to maintain a CGPA. As long as you have the CGPA 3.5 and above, you are eligible to actually to apply for this program already, and then you can start in year 3 straight away, not a problem at all. Okay, so then you able to the next one, basically like I mentioned earlier, you're able to complete the whole program within your years of degree, means 4 years of degree. You need to take you 2 years. You do 2 papers in your year 3, and then the other 2 papers will be in your year 4. Okay, so basically the benefits, okay, you are actually head start the ACCA program much earlier compared to the rest to any other institutions or any other degree holder students. You are able to actually obtain the ACCA qualifications upon completion of your degree if you pass all the papers smoothly. Fast track, okay, to become a chartered accountant. And classes, basically we have weekend classes. Okay, your classes will be conducted under weekend. um, it's about 6 hours, minimum 6 hours, maximum about 8 hours per day. Okay, each subject will be 1 day, except for SBR, probably you might be attending classes for 2 days, two days in a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but the rest is actually about all day. Then basic on top of that, we will actually have this one SPEED program. SPEED program is actually our online um, platform that you are able to actually log on and then see all the recorded classes. Okay, so for the normal classes at the moment now, we are running fully online. Okay, and it's live online classes and it's recorded. So if you somehow miss the classes, you are able to log back into the system and then revisit back the class again. Or some of you have attended the classes, and during the class you might suddenly feel that I did not really catch what the lectures said in for this period of time or something. You can always go back to the class and then replay back the video so that you can catch back what you have missed out. Okay, then we have face-to-face tutorial, and then we have the EDC support. The EDC support is actually EDC stands for exam-driven courses. It's actually the revision classes that we actually support our students before they go for examinations to practice and pass questions so that you are able to actually do your paper better. Okay, and then financially supported by Summit TES. Basically, we give you a discounted rate when you come into the program. Okay, so basically you have to do the 4 paper, plus you have to do a EPSM, okay, online ethics module. This one is actually a fully objective online test. Okay, you can do it anytime. So it's advisable that you do the EPSM during your SBL class. When you do SBL, you have to do a EPSM. You don't have to do it one shot. You don't have to complete the whole test one shot. You can actually accumulate. Probably today I do half an hour, another day do another half hour. You can do that. Okay, so you have to complete your EPSM module plus a 4 paper in order to complete the whole strategic professional level stage. Okay, same go with the Yayasan Peneraju. You will have to actually complete that. Okay, so under self-pay, basically under IR is actually £20 if you I am sure basically you know that you guys, every one of you who actually want to go into ACCA, you are able to register under the ACCA Accelerate program. Under ACCA Accelerate, you are able to actually enjoy a discounted rate of IR. Instead of £89, you only pay about £20. Then exemption, we are being charged by a fixed rate. Instead of £100+, you only need to pay about £25 per paper. So actually about nine papers to apply for exemption. Annual sub basically is waived. This is under ACCA Accelerate. And the tuition fee, basically tuition fee, we standardize the fee as one rate. In regardless of which paper that you come in, we will only charge you 1,008. Okay, so the SBL basically we are charging students 2,000 plus and 3,000 plus. Okay, but if you do the paper during your degree level, we will only charge you 1,008. Okay, this is actually a special discounted rate given to the students who actually plan to go in for the ACCA program, a discounted rate of 1,008. Okay, so resource fee basically is waived. You don't have to pay a single cent. Resource fee, we will waive all the resource fee. Okay, then basically the professional fee, you actually altogether you save about 100 over pounds, and then the tuition fee and general fee basically you save about 2,000 plus. Okay, if you do all the 4 paper during your year 3 and year 4, you save about 2,000 plus ringgit Malaysia. Okay, under Yayasan Penaju, basically you guys are very much more fortunate. The fee, everything will be covered by Yayasan Penaju. Okay, tuition fee all will be covered, professional fee all will be covered, and then they also give you 2 receipt attempt. So any paper you fill, you can receipt the paper, but maximum only 2 attempt. For instance, like if you have 4 paper, so they give you 4 plus 2, all will be covered. Okay, so for self-pay and Yayasan Penaju, if you somehow touch wood fill the paper and you read to receipt the paper, we will not charge you a single cent for the receipt paper. You can come in and then re-attend classes again. Okay, but one drawback under Yayasan Penaju recovery, if you want to take up the scholarship, if you drop halfway, okay, you will have to actually pay back whatever Yayasan Penaju have sponsored you. Okay, so only pay them back, that's all. Okay, so for Bumi students, by all means, if you're really interested, do apply for these Yayasan Penaju scholarships. Okay, it's actually in a way like it helps you to save a lot of money. Okay, so our intakes for ACCA program, basically we have a full-time intakes and part-time. So I'm sure basically you're looking at part-time. Part-time, our intake is in Jan and July. July registration is starting now. Okay, so you can register anytime. You just send me an email or text me. I will send you the application form. Then you just have to fill up a form and then submit whatever current qualification you have. Then we will be able to register you into the program. So we are looking at strategy professional. Okay, so the examination will be every quarter. So if you go for Jan intake, your examination will be in June. If you start in July, your examination will be in December. Then your receipt paper, you can actually receive the paper 3 months later if you are ready. Otherwise, then you have to wait for another 6 months to do the paper. Okay, so these are the structure. Okay, so basically that's about it for the structures and the pathway and then the fee. So I hope you guys are clear on this picture. So we are open for questions. Since Ms. Kiran is here, so do you like to ask any questions about the subjects? Please do ask. Ms. Kiran is actually our lecturers, strategy professional lecturers. She will be able to answer all your questions under the strategy professional level papers. Please do ask now, or you can type it into the chat box. Then we will address your questions.
It would be nice to hear your voices. So do turn on your mics if you're comfortable. Do turn on your videos too if you want to. Otherwise, please feel free to post your questions.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you probably let me give you a bit of a head start. These are the usual questions which we have. Is this qualification tough? Okay, you tell me. What do you think? Can you give me answers in your chat box, please? What do you think? Do you think this qualification is tough or is it easy? What are your views? You certainly have heard something about this. Give me a T for tough. Give me E for easy. What is it? Do you think it's a T or is it an E? Tough or easy? I like that answer. Who was that? Someone gave as very tough. I understand your abbreviation. And then there is quite tough. Okay. I don't even see a E at all. At all. Okay. You are partially right on saying that it is a tough qualification. Well, if it was so simple, then don't you think every Tom, Dick, and Harry would be pursuing it? And if you want to have something which is very prestigious, world recognized, there definitely has to be more substance to it, isn't it? Then again, you remember the optional paper? You can actually choose any of the four papers from. You only need to do two papers. Go for a paper that you like. It doesn't matter what is the world pass rate. It really doesn't matter. All right, let's take a paper which probably has got a very high pass rate. And it's a paper that you don't really like at all. And you take the paper. Do you think you're going to be motivated to study? Certainly not, isn't it? Even in your uni program, you do have certain option papers. Go for a paper that you like. When you like the paper, you want to gain more knowledge, you will be more motivated to study. It is a tough qualification. Then remember I gave you the reasons why where you need to study, and I highlighted to you not one but 10 reasons in choosing Sunway test. Apart from the non-academic part of it, let's focus on the academic part of it. Sunway test, I mean, if we are having so many prize winners and the high number of graduates, definitely there are things that we are doing which are assisting our students. You don't have to be superbly intelligent. You just have to be a little hardworking, and you need to just stay in the course. Stay in the course, which means, after you finish the lesson for the day, you make sure you study, you understand that. Only then it makes sense for you to do a topper. If you can stay through the course, be on the same track as your lecturers, you can definitely attain your pass. Why pass? You can also score your paper. And I would like to say that if you are doing this qualification, it requires a lot of commitment. All right, it requires a lot of commitment. Meaning, if you have decided to start this qualification, you must stay to the course, and you must make a commitment that you are going to complete the paper. Right? And you have only four papers, and you have exams every 6 months. You must aim to clear the paper. Right? For sure, you must clear the paper. How well you perform on the exam day, how much you study, how much you are able to present your answers well. Not only can you pass, you can score the paper as well. I hope that has clarified some of the doubts that you're having. All right, let me have a look at, we have some question here. Okay. All right, Vision, I'm just seeing your answer. ET, okay, if I want to put in abbreviation, extremely tough. All right. Okay, we have a CIA student here. May I know if there's any ACCA paper that needs working experience? Any of your ACCA paper, having working experience is an added advantage. Let's view on the two perspectives. As a student, if you ask anyone, student, what should they be busy with? Just studying, isn't it? But then again, that makes Jack and Jill a very dull person, isn't it? So you want to strike a balance. You do spend quite a fair bit of your time studying. You can read up a lot of articles, a lot of information is available today at the comfort of your home. Mr. Google is ever willing to assist you. It's just that, do we want to read up on that? Now, if you look at working people, they are very tied up at work. They have a lot of deadlines and things like that to meet. So sometimes they don't even have enough time to study, let alone to do more reading. So if you are going to if you're going to be working and studying on a part time, that requires even added commitment. I did my whole ACCA and I didn't get any exemptions. Yeah, so I did all my 14 papers, and I did working on a full time and studying on a part time. And during my time, exams were only in June and December. And I think it was sometime in 2016, if I remember correctly, that's when they started introducing exams every quarter. What other questions do you have? CIA student, I hope I have clarified that. Yeah. Having a working experience is always an added bonus. Yeah. Somebody wants to say something here? Yes, Mamen. Is it
Yes,
Mamen?
good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
Evan. So my question, my question is like, will the choice of your optional paper affect your qualification ACCA? For instance, if you take something like taxation, then your ACCA won't be relevant in audit. If you take an optional paper of taxation instead of audit.
You have 2 optional papers that you can take. So you can take your audit and you can take your tax. There were some comments about some firms being, particular, and if you want to join audit, you should have advanced audit. But there's nothing really concrete on that, and it's always good to have a good exposure. Even firms these days, right? They are also hiring non-accountants because why? They are auditing a myriad of industries. Can you imagine all accountants only? So they are actually bringing in lawyers. They even have engineers. They even have students from other fields who are coming in. It depends on what their degree is. Sometimes they get some exemptions, sometimes they don't, and they are actually willing to pursue the whole ACCA qualification. And of course, then they are sponsored by the firm and they are bonded with the firm.
Just to add on, Ms. Kiran. Yeah, just to add on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The questions to the answers to the questions. At Sunway, we do strongly encourage students to do the AAA paper, Advanced Audit and Assurance. Okay, it's simply because first of all, we strongly encourage our students to find their first job in professional services, professional audits, a professional firm, simply because of your exposure and your experience. Because you need to see a lot of things and you need to get a lot of experience and to see more things. Then you work there for about 3 years, and after you get your membership, that's where you branch out, that's where you move out. Then you join then from there only you join the commercial industry or any services or any industry. That will be much more easier in a way, like you are able to get a better experience. This is normally what Sunway will encourage students to do that, but ultimately it's still up to student decision. But let's say if you think audit, advanced audit insurance is not your subjects, so by all means don't go for it. Like my Miss Kiran said, if you don't really like it, don't force yourself to do the paper that you don't like it. Yeah, but we encourage students to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I do have one question, Ms. Kiran.
Yes, sure.
So, I'm not sure if this question is relevant, but are there any alliance with CAN's program? Is like ACCA, do they have any alliance with the CAN's program?
Kent program. What is the Kent program? We don't.
Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lavinia, is only MICPA have affiliation with Kent. So they actually what happens is that they're actually a partners between the MICPA and Kent. So once you are MICPA member, automatically you are Kent's member. So when you go out overseas to work, you actually use Kent qualification instead of MICPA, because MICPA is actually recognized by in Malaysia, but in world recognition, it's actually Kent's Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand. So it's like a dual membership. Once you need it for one examination, but you get dual membership. That is only offered by MICPA lah. But then again, ACCA is actually not bad at all, because ACCA, even though it's not under the GAA members, they are actually the IFAC member, International Federation Accounting member, and under these IFAC members, it's actually recognized by 130 countries. So imagine you're able to actually apply for job in 130 countries. So the 130 countries is actually those prominent countries that a lot of graduates who want to apply to work there. As the only thing is that except Canada and US, you can't work if you have an ACCA qualification. But under CANS, you are able to work there, because CANS, beside they are a member of IFAC, they are also a member of GAA, Global Accountant Alliance. So Global Accountant Alliance is recognized within 150 countries. And out of the 150 countries, US and Canada is actually part of the recognized country. So you are able to work there.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. William. Thank you, Ms. Kiran.
Lavanya, are you more interested on the CAN program or the ACCA program?
So I was like comparing, because I'm would like to look forward for like international work opportunities. So I was wondering if ACCA is accepted in the Australia New Zealand region.
It is, but their local qualification, they're giving more prominence. So even if you have your ACCA, I do have graduates who are in Australia and they're working. I do have graduates who are in US and with ACCA, of course they have to top up with a couple of additional papers, and yes, they are employed. Whereas if like you go to UK, then you have no worries at all. Straight away the qualification is accepted. So that's your slight difference.
Yes.
Because once you are a member of a professional body, you can also be a member of another professional body. Let's say if you have sufficient year of experience, you are able to apply under the work experience path. But then you have to serve two different membership fee lah. That you have to decide whether do you really need that membership in order to find a better job there. So if you really need, then you will have to do another apply for another professional body.
Just to share with you all, I told you, right, I did my CIA in Sunway test. So CIA has actually got 4 papers, if I'm not mistaken, and there was a special tie-up between ACCA and IIA, Institute of Internal Auditors. So those of us who are members, not student members, not full-fledged members. So those of us who are members, we can actually take up a special exam, and it is a one-time offer, one sitting. And what they did was, it used to be 4 papers, then they broke it. They have now made it 3 papers, and they made a combination. So you had about, I think, 35, and 30%, something 35. So you have part 1, 2, and 3, the 3 papers. They basically made it into one special paper. And they have since then, offered that about 2 to 3 times, but it just comes once in a while. And instead of sitting for 3 papers, I just sat for 1 paper. It's not easy. For your CIA paper, to pass the paper, you need 75%. Like your ACCA, to pass the paper, you only need 50%. Yes, the exams are MCQ, multiple choice questions, but let me tell you, how are the MCQs? All the following are true. Choose the best. You know what we normally do in school, right? Or any other MCQs, you have 4 answers, you remove your 2, and then it's like, okay, from this 2, and then you choose 1. All the following are true. So yeah, you have to choose the best answer. To pass the paper, you need 75. So imagine you get 60 plus and it's fail. You get 70 and it's a fail. Yeah. So CIA exams are tough, and if you have a CIA qualification, especially in US, oh yes, you get really looked up.
Yep. So there's another questions under Zishan.
In the chat, okay. If one day I need to migrate to Singapore, do I need to take additional paper to become a chartered accountant in Singapore, or literally the member of ICAC? All right, let me tell you that I was actually studied in Singapore previously, and I did a Singapore variant paper. At that time, there was no issue. Last few years, Singapore has actually come up with their own paper. So if you have got the ACCA qualification, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not very well versed. I was supposed to follow up with that because somebody did inquire, and then I got so tied up with my work and I did give on doing it. I think you need to sit for 1 or 2 of their local papers. So when I was doing, my ACCA in Singapore, I actually took the local tax paper, right? Yeah, and the local law paper. Chilong, are you well versed with the Singapore one?
Yeah, they just recently changed the structure. It's actually something not really that favorable for ACCA members.
Okay.
For ACCA members, if they want to become a chartered accountant in Singapore, they have to do 5 papers.
Oh, really? Okay.
They just implemented that to do 5 papers. If you
because
are,
I think they want to give more prestige to their own qualification.
One thing also, and then they only recognize chartered accountant professional bodies. So let's say if you are ICAEW members, you can straightaway become the member chartered accountant in Singapore without doing any paper. So somehow their directions is to recognize chartered accountant professional bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, in a way, like I'm not saying that ACCA is not a chartered accountant qualifications. The professional body itself is actually a chartered professional body. But the members is all depending on which country that you work with. In Malaysia, basically, it's actually governed by our regulatory body MIA. So as long as you are an MIA member, you can call yourself Chartered Accountant Malaysia. Okay, but in UK, then probably you might see a bit difference. UK, there's only one Chartered Accountant professional body, which is the ICW. ACCA members, they call themselves as certified accountants. The body is chartered, but the member is actually certified accountants. But then again, world is actually changing. A lot of things change, not like old time anymore. So chartered carrying the charter title or carrying the certified title, basically they are doing the same work. So recognitions is actually still, you are still able to get a decent job there. Definitely. ACCA, in terms of if ACCA is not really that recognized, and then people are not able to get the job, the number will not increase so tremendously every year. You can see through every year there are hundreds of thousands students members. You can see basically from there you are able to see how well they are doing, and the recognitions globally. How is the recognition globally? That really, that actually the number itself actually tell you the give you the answers already.
All right, let me ask a question. How many of you, after listening to today, are convinced, that you would want to pursue ACCA? Can you type in the chat box? Give me a yes, please. How many of you are convinced and you would want to pursue ACCA? I know there's still steps in terms of signing up and all that, but how many of you are more keen or more swayed towards ACCA? Oh my God, Chilong, can you see? The inbox is flooding. It's flooding with so many responses. Can you see that, Chilong? Really? Can you see that? Oh, yes, it is. It is indeed flooding. It is. It
yeah,
is.
I'm sure every one of you can do it, like, because our past experience, Miss Kiran, the students who actually join our ACCA program, they are, in fact, they're actually doing so much better than our normal students and our
It's
part-time
true.
students. Yeah.
Chilong, you remember I used to teach the students as well, and I
Mm.
still remember the last batch before the transition.
Mm.
They gave a very high pass rate. So
Mm.
sometimes pursuing more things, more than one thing, actually makes you more committed, because you also want to have time to play. And you know what? When you're doing your ACCA, I give you this assurance: you will not have to spend as much time studying on your degree. Even though the paper is different, somehow, because of the exposure and the knowledge that you're getting in the papers down here, you will be able to ace through your degree program and
Yeah.
your ACCA papers as well. Very, very important that when you sign up for a paper, you really want to clear the paper. Seeing the paper one round, it's fine. You really don't want to be seeing the paper more than one round. Okay. So you just tell yourself it's a matter of 6 months. That's it. And you, after that, once the exam is over, party as much as you want. Then comes the next semester. That's how I used to do it, because I was working full time and studying part time.
I remember Miss Kiran, Mr. Joe always like to say, if you go into the student class, anyone can go in and teach them. They are able to pass through. They don't have
Yes.
to be.
I've actually there was one semester I was actually visiting and I was teaching the students there, right, in the business faculty. Yeah. So, and I have taught quite a few rounds of the students. So yes, there's always a soft spot when Chilong told me that there's a session and it's with the students, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm game.
so
Even
so
if
I
it's not student, but to talk about ACCA, and it really is something that I enjoy doing. Yeah. What
yeah.
are the maximum attempts to ACCA and ICW papers? Okay, I will answer you for the ACCA. Once you sign up for the strategic level, that means once you have decided to take on the strategic level, you are actually given 7 years to complete. Let me clarify that even more. You only have 4 papers and you are given 7 years. So even if you did one paper a year, you still had a buffer. Of course, I'm not going to encourage you on that. And you should eliminate reattempt and resitting. Your only words in your vocabulary should be, I'm signing up for this paper and I'm sitting for this in let's say December 2021, and I am going to pass the paper. Set a target of your marks. Please don't set 50, because if you get slightly less than 50, it's a disaster. So you must always set slightly more. And if you get even higher, better. But if you fall a little bit, okay, you're still in the safe zone. For ICAW, there is reattempt. It used to be 4 times. I think Chilong, can you answer that, please?
Yeah. For ICW, only the first 2 level, which is the certificate level and the professional level, the 6 paper certificate and the professional level 6 paper, each subject you are given 4 attempts. You need to pass the paper within 4, the same paper, the paper within 4 attempts. Means each paper, if you fail the paper, you are given 3 times to resit your paper. So the 4th time you need to pass. If you fail all the same paper 4 times, then sorry to say, they will automatically remove you from the ICW professional bodies. Okay, if you ask us basically, is there any students are being removed? If I tell you don't have, definitely I'm lying. We do have, but very minimum, 1 or 2 only. That is actually not serious in studies. Those who are serious in study, if they can't make it for the first round, definitely second round will be able to make it. For the last 3 papers, there is no ceiling. You can receive as many time as you want, but you are very closely monitored by the authorized training employer. Your employer will monitor your performance because they are the one that actually sponsor your studies. So generally, those of them actually come from doing training contract to do the last 3 paper. Most of them, they are able to pass through the paper within 1 attempt. So probably some of them, they are not lucky. They didn't really prepare to the field the first time, then they receive the second time, definitely they pass through. So our failing rate is very low for ICW. But ACCA, our pass rate is actually very high as well. We are the highest pass rate in the in global, in the whole Malaysia. Actually, overseas, basically, we don't have the statistic for overseas, but in Malaysia, definitely we are the top. We are the #1 institution. Because our professional level, strategy professional level, our pass rate ranges between 40 to 60% depending on subjects. Some of the institutions actually lower than 60%, so we are actually above that. We most of the time we surpass the whole pass rate. So because we have lecturers like this student here to help you guys to pass the paper.
Thank you. We certainly do.
Yeah.
And our students, the biggest joy any tutor can get is always seeing our students sail through. That is the whole aim of teaching, and then the students learn, and then they can ace through their exam.
Any other questions?
Do we have any more questions? You all have been absolutely amazing. Yeah. Yes, Maman.
Hello. Yes, good evening. One more question from me is that ACCA, there's after you pass the 4 paper, there's 3 years and then another 5 years with your employee to get your full qualification, right?
You get your membership after 3 years.
Membership. Yes. So the question is there any requirement for the employer?
Any requirement for the employer?
For ACCA? For ACCA, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If that's that you work with the recognized ACCA recognized employer, they have the list. Definitely professional services are recognized by them. For example, like Big Four. So you just have to submit your work experience with the cover letter from the company. Then definitely they will recognize the number of years of experience that you have within that company, the employer. Then if you work in those mid-tier or small firm, then you might have to do a little bit of justifications, and basically you might have to actually submit a little bit more info about the role and then what you do and all those stuff for the ACCA to evaluate.
Chilong, there is that PER, personal experience record. They will need to complete that, and employer will have to endorse it. They have to sign it, stamp it.
Yep.
And then you submit it to ACCA. ACCA will review it, and then you will get your membership. The 5 years after that, to gain your fellowship, that's automatic. You don't have to do anything. They will just send you a notification to tell you that now you are a fellow member. I have had students, part-time students, who were working and studying, and the moment they completed, they actually submitted, because remember I told you all the experience while you are studying also is counted, and just within a couple of months they immediately got their membership.
So, Miss Siren, tell them that you're actually a FCCA?
Oh yes, I am an FCCA, yes. I should be. By the way, just to let you know how privileged you are that you can actually take your paper one at a time. Do you know that when I was doing my ACCA, I actually had to take all the final level 4 papers together. So that is the SBL paper that was known as the business analysis. Then it was known as corporate reporting, which is your SBR. And then I had my advanced audit and advanced tax. 4 papers. I had to take them concurrently, and I'm working full time. So what happened? That was the only round which I didn't sort of make it. So I only cleared my business analysis, and the other 3 I flunked. So obviously the whole sitting was gone. Came round 2. So now I was doing my own studying, and tables turned the other way. The one that I had passed the other time, I didn't. And the 3 that I didn't, I passed. Right? And because it was only a marginal failure at that time, thank goodness, ACCA basically said you can have one more chance of reattempt. And if that one paper, when I reattempt and if I clear, then my whole sitting is fine. If I don't, the whole sitting is burned. So yes, thank goodness I did. And that's why my final level, it took me 1.5 years. And I was a bit crazy, okay? So I was studying, and every sitting I was taking 2 to 3 papers, because 14 papers, there was no way I was going to last 7 years. Just I wouldn't have the steam to last for 7 years. I needed to clear as soon as possible. So it was after that I literally took a vow that I'm not going to take any more exams. But you know what? Promises are meant to be broken, isn't it? Okay, so after some time, and when I was some years back, I did my master's, then I did my CIA, then I've done my neuro-linguistic program training. So yes, I have pursued quite a few things thereafter. But the journey of doing ACCA, it taught me a lot, and I think once you have endured ACCA, a lot of other things seem not as big, not as tough, and it actually prepares you for work. Yeah, all right. So we need 8 years of working experience, 3 + 5 to become a fellow, 3 years to gain your membership, and 5 years is after the 3 years, and you should be in employment. And of course, you are still be doing your CPD. So it's like you don't have to do any additional form filling, justification. You don't have to do that. Have I clarified, CIA student, your comment here? It's in the 3 years that you need to submit the PER, personal experience record. And once you have gotten that, let's say you have gotten that at 2020, you became a member, ACCA member. Then 5 years thereafter, they will send you a notification that you become a fellow. There's no change in the fees, nothing. That is the highest, that you can attain. Anything that you want of value, of quality, definitely you have to endure a little bit. You have to make a bit of sacrifices, but with proper time planning and all that, it is doable. It is possible. And the joy and the benefit that you gain after doing your ACCA qualification is amazing. And you know what? This qualification is so versatile. The amount of knowledge and experience that you get, please don't think you're doomed to have your life in the firm. All right, it's not necessary. There are people who have made careers in the firm, right? And the your options, the possibilities are my right. They are my right. Right. I have graduates who have become pilots, who are investment bankers, who are entrepreneurs, who have become forensic analysts, who are internal auditors. I mean, the possibilities are just amazing because of the exposure that you get from the papers that you pursue.
you won't regret lah, put it this way lah, after you obtain the qualifications, whether being it the ACCA program or any other professional qualifications. Once you got it, then you won't regret it lah, in a way. It's a lifetime.
Chilong, you normally have a special offer for those who sign up on the day that we do a chat, isn't it? I mean, that we do a talk like this.
Yeah,
Do
the
you have that?
the special offer is actually 1,008 across the subjects.
Ah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Because back then we only give about 10% discount on the tuition fee. So if you come in with the SBL, we are actually charging 3,150 ringgit. Then the SBR we are charging 2,570. That we actually give only 10% discount for students. But now we actually charge everything standard across all the 4 papers, which is 1,008. So you guys actually can save a lot of money there from there.
That's really a very, very good offer.
Yeah. So any more questions, guys? So if there is no more questions, I just don't want to hold you guys up for too long.
Chilong, why don't you put your email here?
Yep.
So if they have any
Yes,
questions,
Yep.
right, Maman, you have something else
Yep.
you want to ask? Yes, please
Yep.
go ahead.
Just to just to re-clarify one last time, like for instance, what if I work something like a government agency, will it be recognized? And if it's not recognized within that 3 years, would my ACCA be like what will happen then?
It's not in terms of, what kind of setup, but it's basically the kind of work you do. Right? So, you could be in a firm, but you're taking on a PR job, let's say, but that's not relevant, isn't it? All right. So it depends on the kind of work that you are taking on.
Yep.
Right? It's whether it is, it can be anything. It could be in terms of risk management, because all these are relevant in your ACC paper. So you could be doing some risk management, you could be advisory, you could be tax consulting, you could be doing internal audit, you could be doing external audit. It could be anything, but is it relevant to your qualification? That's what it is. It's not about 3 years of experience. It is 3 years of relevant experience.
Yep.
Have I clarified, Maman?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So any more questions, guys? Myself, actually, I have laid out my contact details and then my email address, and Evelyn as well. Evelyn has her mobile number and email address. You can contact either one of us, okay, if you want to get more information. Our July intake is actually open for registration. A lot of you guys, your seniors, actually join our July intake due to your semester is a bit free during this period. So that's why a lot of them actually start the program in July. Jan, we have lesser students who actually register with us. So if you already decided, by all means, don't wait. Please do register for the subject and then join us during your 3rd year. Or some of you are in 4th year, so do by all means try to clear some of paper in 4th year so that when you start working that time, you don't have to clear so many papers. Okay. So yep. Yeah, Ms. Kiran,
It will be beneficial to do both concurrently. You're lucky to have that option. And, when you are studying, it's a time when you actually have got the most time. And you think that, never mind, let me, get down to work and then I will, take on the qualification. Actually, that's when you want to be more committed to your work. All right. Just the last words that, it has really been an wonderful evening. You all have been amazing with all your questions that you all came up with. Do think through, and you can definitely reach out to Chilong or Evelyn. And I hope that those of you who have raised the questions and those of you who have been listening, doesn't matter, all of you do join us and come to Sunway Test. ACCA is a prestigious qualification, world recognized, and so versatile in terms of where you can do it. The amount of exposure and the knowledge that you gain is absolutely amazing. And you don't have to travel anywhere. Right in your home, you have got one of the best campus, and it has got a high proven track record. Do go and Google up Sunway Test, and you will see there is tons of information. So with that, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, and thanks for raising all your questions. I hope it has been a fruitful evening for you, and happy decision making.